Good morning, students. Welcome back to your exam-based conduct class for 2019. The course is Certificate for Policing. Your subject, Charge Service Administration. Subject codes, I'm Master Tamarep. I'm your tutor for this subject. My email address is on the screen, my cell phone number. Once again, welcome to Charge Service Administration. Your outline for the presentation will be your exam structure, continuous assessment, the examination preparation, and what you need to know during the examination. The examination structure, the duration of your examination for 12 credits is always 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes, written examination of 120 marks. Your scripts are always counting 120 marks because you are on the level that counts 120. You need to answer all the questions. If there's questions that you need to select, you will be given instructions to do so in your paper. There will be multiple choice questions, true and false questions, of statements and other short questions of marks ranging from 1 to 5. Additional to that, the paper will also consist of long questions of 10 to 20 marks. All questions in the examination paper are from the content in the study guide provided by Iol. Your continuous assessment and calculation of your marks. Continuous assessment per model consists of one assignment of 120 marks for 12 credits. You need to pass your assessment or your assignment for you to be able to write your exam. The marks contained will be calculated as follows to give you your year mark. Mark obtained divided by 6 times 5 to get the final mark out of 100. Meaning if you obtain 20, it will be 20 divided by 6 times 5, and that will be your final mark. A 50% continuous assessment mark is required for admission to the exam. If you don't make it up to 50%, then you will not be allowed to write your exam. So you need to make sure when you are doing your assignment so that you can score high marks to qualify for your exam. A final pass mark of 50% is required, calculated by 60 of the examination mark and 40% of the continuous assessment mark. The sub-minimum of 50 must be attained in examination. For you to be considered as pass, you need to get at least 50% in your exam paper. Example, suppose assignment continuous assessment mark is 50. Examination mark is 50. Now 40% of your 50 in your assignment will be 20. 60% of your 50 in the examination will be 30. Meaning that your final mark will be 50, that will give you a pass. So if you, for any mistake, obtain less than 50 in either your assignment or your examination, meaning that you will not be able to make it unless you score high marks in your examination. Timetable. Make sure you know the venue of your exam and the time it started. Consult IOL officers for those administrative details and not the subject tutor. Sometimes you find students that is calling you for examination venues, the examination timetable. Unfortunately, I'm not a full-time employee of IOL, so I don't deal with administrative matters. Students need to call the regional officers or either the coordinator at IOL headquarters. Remember to carry enough pens, watch, ruler, student card, and any material that will be required when writing your exam. Students, it's very much important for you to carry your student card, for you to get access to your venue or your exam. Revision can help a student to remember what he has studied, so you need to do revision. Read all the topics for your examination preparation. You need to read all the topics in your study guide. For preparation of multiple choice, falling, missing words, and true or false questions. Study hard for the examination to avoid disappointment. Students need to spend time and thoroughly read the following topics in preparation for the examination. Feeding and clothing of prisoners by members. Know the meaning of the following words: suspects, suspect charge, charge accepted, arrest. Those short terms that you find in your study guides, please make sure you read them and you understand them. What should be recorded in a notebook? Any other information regarding notebook, who should carry a notebook, you need to know them. Know the abbreviations, verification of vehicle in transit, those forms that you find in Paul 98, 86, you need to read them and know them. The purpose and completion of the indemnity by claimant form, that's the Paul 557, normally completed when recovered property are handed back to the owners. So you need to complete it. Please know the procedure that goes with the form. Article 1 of the Namibian Constitution. You need also to know Article 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 21 of your Constitution. So for you be on the safe side, read the whole section on the Bill of Rights, Chapter 3. The police procedure when ownership is established of found property. Procedure when cancelling items reported stolen, lost or found to the Crime Information Unit. That's the V5 forms. Transfer of case dockets. If a case is registered in an area that is not the jurisdiction of that specific case, for instance, something happens in Windhoek, the complainant cannot get to Windhoek and he is a resident of Chipmans, he will submit a statement at Chipmans Police Station. The case will be transferred to the area of jurisdiction. Or a more closer example of it is that when you report a case in Katutura that falls in Vaneda jurisdiction, the docket will be transferred to Vaneda. It will be allocated again of a new CR that side if one was allocated at Katutura. So that's the procedure, so you need to know it. Information that appear on a front page of a docket. The complainant, the CR numbers, the stations, all that information, you need to know them. Warning of an arrested person to appear in court. Normally the warning of arrested person, when detectives are arresting somebody for a trivial case, they might release the person and want the person to appear on the next date or next court date in court. Sometimes we find that the traffics are issuing summonses as warnings. They write a ticket and then the person is warned to appear in court if you don't pay on a certain date. And failure to do that will always result in a warrant of arrest being issued. So you need to know those procedures. Searching of offender, prisoner at the charge office. Searching of prisoners should not even happen at the charge office. The moment when somebody is arrested, he should be searched. Because the prisoner might have information that you are looking for to prove your case. So you need to search an offender or prisoner at the first instance. Cell management by station commander in order to ensure safety of custody. You know, once you arrest somebody, you remove his liberty, so you need to make sure that he is in a safe place. So the safety of the cells of the police station should be regulated by the station commander. So you need to know those procedures. Investigation of a case register. That's the Paul 22. That's investigation officers who always write in dockets in that register as a control measure. So you need to know those processes. How firearms and ammunition can be forfeited by the state. What to do if property is handed to a member on duty outside the police station. That's when members of the public maybe recovered something and then he wanted to hand it over to the police station, but the police station might be far, and then he found a police officer on the street and then he decided to hand that property over to the police officer. You need to know those procedures. Make sure that your student number is written. This is now when you enter the exam venue and start of your examination. You need to make sure your student number is written correctly, if possible on all pages. Write your details as requested on the answer sheet. Write down the correct model name and code. Make sure that you receive the correct question paper. It creates confusion if code and name of model is wrong, as the paper are sent from one tutor to another for marking. As a result of that, a delay in marking process are experienced. Read instructions carefully and ensure you know what is required before you start writing. Read the exam paper first to make sure you understand the instructions and the questions. Do not dive into writing without first reading the entire paper. Students tend to answer wrong questions and lose valuable marks. Answer questions in the correct sequence as they are in the question paper. Don't start, for example, with question 1, 3, 5, then you write 2 and 3 at the end of the paper. That is very much confusing. If this happens, questions should be clearly marked to avoid confusion, and student needs to indicate that question 2 is on page what of the answers book, so that the marker knows that question 2 is somewhere else. You are not permitted to take any form of notes into the examination room. You plan how much time you will give to each question in order to save time. Plan your time wisely and write as quickly and neatly as you can. This should ensure that you finish on time. Please take the marks allocated for each question into consideration when determining the length of your answer. That's the end of our presentation. All the best of your study and your examination. If there's any questions on issues that is not clear, you can direct contact me on 081-247-4088, or either you can email me on katili@legalshield.com.na. I thank you.